You're welcome to Mentee to Mentor series, episode 8. This is episode 8, and it promises to be an amazing session, an amazing session. And we have a very special guest, someone very dear to my heart. I am excited to have him here. He's a friend and a brother, someone that you will love to listen to. So if you're here and this is your first time, I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing. But if this is your if you're a regular on our series, you will know what we're talking about. For those of us that are here for the first time, so this is a series where we have conversations about mentee mentor relationship. It's called Mentee to Mentor. Now, what's our objective? Our objective to have is to touch on the relationship between a mentor and a mentee, then speak about how the mentee should relate with the mentor, how a mentee should pick a mentor, how a mentee would relate with his mentor, how to become a very good mentee that you can gain maximally from that relationship, and also how you can in turn become an effective and a good mentor to other people. That's the basis of our conversation. And in these conversations, we talk about unfiltered truths. We speak about um, things you should do for your mentor, things your mentor should do for you, things that you should run away from the moment you start seeing signs as a mentor, things you should also run away from where you start seeing signs as a mentee. Talk about all those things here. We talk about if you should pay for mentorship and or you shouldn't. We speak about the difference between a mentor, the difference between a mentor, a role model, a coach, difference between a spiritual father and all other things that relate to that topic, right? So we speak about, should I just read books? Do I need a physical mentor? Should I just read books and then I'm okay with that? Things like that. Now, but today we're going to talk about the same thing but from a different perspective. And this today's conversation is going to be centered around having a mentor even when you have the Holy Spirit. Now, is this something that we should have, or is this something that is necessary? Is it not necessary? What do you think about that topic? So, we are going to talk about that with respect to business, your life in general, your spiritual life, everything as a wholesome person. We do not want to see that you are doing well spiritually, but then you're suffering financially. You're doing well spiritually, but you're suffering in another way in life. Right. So thank you very much. Today our guest, his name is Faith Tambaya. Faith Tambaya is experienced, seasoned, a very good mentee and a very good mentor. He's single, by the way. He's not married. I just thought to just throw that in there so that we'll have that out of the way because I must touch it. As of today, he's not married. Yes, we don't know what will happen next week, so Saturday. Mr. Face, you're welcome to the live. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening. It's good to see you. I'm so excited to be on this series with you. Thank you so much, sir. Good evening, everyone. People joining from everywhere. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I'm so excited about this series. I mean, I have followed a bit of it, and it has really been exciting. I mean, hearing the deep things that people have been sharing, and this is actually very important and seasonal because if you tend to look at it, it's something. This is a topic that a lot of times you don't find discussions like this in this aspect of it. So there's a little gap um, in 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 this particular topic, and I'm so excited to share from my own journey Thank you so much, sir, for this privilege.
Thank you. We're privileged to also have you on this series. Now, but before I start bombarding you with the questions, if you're following us on Facebook, please drop a message in the chat. Just let us know that you're following us. I will see share with as many people that you think need to be join this conversation. If you're following us on YouTube, type that. I need to pick up my other phone so that I can check TikTok. If you're also following us on TikTok, you may not be able to share or show your message, but I'll be able to read them out from TikTok. All right, so please, Mr. Faith, let's meet you. Let's know a little about you. Just a little about you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. My name is Faith Tambaya, and uh, I'm a graphic designer. Um, I do a very little bit of video editing, and I'm a child of God. Amen. Yeah, so very very important. Yes, and I'm also an admin personnel. Yeah, I'm based in Abuja.
Nice. Thank you very much. You say you're an admin personnel. He's very good at what he does. Very passionate about his work. Very nice. Okay, so this is how we're going to start now. Usually, this is one of the first questions I ask my guests every time. And since we're having a conversation about mentorship, mentee mentor relationship, I would like to know your own take. What is mentorship to you? What's the concept or the idea of mentorship? What is it to you? Is this something that you don't even like to hear at all? Or just what's mentorship to you? Or mentee mentor relationship? Just that.
I I don't.
Sorry,
Can you hear
come
me?
start again. Yeah, start again.
Okay. All right. So I said I'll start with my own personal experience. Mentorship, growing up, mentorship was not something I was open to because in fact, it was not even something I was really, uh, I wanted to put myself into. So I used to have friends that say they are submitted to somebody or they have this mentor and all of that. And so every little thing, they're like, okay, I spoke to my mentor about this. And for me, it didn't really sit well with me because it was more like, is it everything you have to meet your mentor? Is it everything? You can't you just figure out this thing by yourself? Do you get? And starting life, I would say that I actually started without a mentor and I made a lot of mistakes. So basically, I learned everything. I learned most of the things rather by experience, and which was not a good thing. If I had a mentor, most of the mistakes I made, I wouldn't have made them. Right. So at first, I was not really open to mentorship because I was like, I just felt it's something you can just, I mean, you can just do by yourself. You can just do life by yourself, figure out things by yourself. So let's just move on. You have the Holy Spirit, you pray, and God reveals things to you. So it was not a thing I was really open to up until when I started having some challenges, even after praying. After I've done a lot of things, like I've prayed, I fasted, I did all of those things. But I just realized that I was not getting answers to what I was praying about. I was not getting. So at that point, I knew. So I had to speak to somebody, more of a senior friend as at then. And then the first question he asked me after narrating what I was going through was, "Do I have a mentor?" In my head, I was like, "Sir, that's not why I'm here." I just came. I have this problem, and this is why I'm here. This is not the topic of our discussion. So, but after he gave his counsel and all of that, the things he said to me was that I should get a mentor, and that was not just it. fast forward to I think some years later or some months later, I was also in a season where I needed clarity on some certain things. So I had to meet somebody else who I sensed I should speak to this person. And funny enough, the first thing he also asked me was, "Do you have a mentor?" And I'm like, "What is going on here? I'm here for something. That this is it. XYZ. This is my problem. Just tell me what I need to know, and then we are out of this place." But I just sat down to realize that the idea of mentorship is very, very important. Now, this is where my definition of mentorship now comes. I see mentorship as um, someone guiding another person on a path he has walked on, right? So it is somebody guiding you on a path you've never walked on, and the person has already gone through that path. So, and I think it's something that is very important to each and every individual. Like I said, I had experiences where that's in years past. I was in seasons of my life where I needed clarity concerning certain things. I had prayed about it, and the, it, I it's not like I mean I hear God, but on those certain matters I kept praying, but I couldn't just find I couldn't just find an answer to what I was praying about. So I sensed to speak to somebody. So I believe the idea of mentorship is very important. Is very, very important. And I would say everyone should have a mentor. Yes. That's my perspective on that.
All right. You said they kept asking you, do you have a mentor? Do you have a mentor? So you decided to that was when you decided to get a mentor, or what happened?
Yes. So after that period, I mean I kept thinking about it, and so I just realized everything was kept coming to my mind. I was looking at how that I've done things in the past where I made mistakes, and the truth is that sometimes I just sit down and I mean those periods keeps flashing in my mind where I knew if I had a mentor here, maybe if I had somebody that was guiding me to say, okay, no, don't take this step, do this or do this way, I wouldn't have gone through all of those things, right? So sitting down after having this conversation with this man, I just realized that it is actually important for me to have a mentor, to have somebody I'm submitted to, somebody I can say, okay. Uh, I also realized that it will also help me. It's just like having somebody that you are accountable to, right? Because sometimes we you think you are, but you're actually not making progress until you have somebody that you are accountable to. You're saying, okay, this is what I've done, this is where I was, this is what I'm doing, and the person do this next, right? So I just sat down and I kept those things kept coming to my mind, and I realized that I actually need a mentor. So the next thing was, okay, so how do I get a mentor? How do I? So I didn't know the process to telling somebody that okay, I want you to mentor me, and all of those. So I had to sit down to actually think about it. I think I also had to speak to somebody about this also. How do you now get a mentor? How do you now meet somebody and tell him that to mentor you and all of those things? So first of all, I didn't realize that I needed a mentor. To me coming to that point where I realized that I needed a mentor, and then how to now get a mentor. Yes, sir. I can't hear you.
You had to speak to somebody to figure out
Yes.
how you can engage somebody as your mentor. So how did it go? So what did you do? What advice did the person get to tell you? And how did you pick your mentor? How did you ask the person to be your mentor?
Yes. So what I did was what the person said, and it was still a senior friend I spoke with, and he said, first of all, where are you going to? Where do you sense God is taking you to? And again, you also need to understand what aspect of your life do you need mentorship on, right? So I had to sit down. and say, okay, what aspect of my life do I actually need mentorship on, right? So first of all, knowing where you are going to, and then what aspect of your life do you now need mentorship on, right? So those are the things I actually had to look into. Actually need mentorship on this XYZ. This is where I'm going to, and this is what I need to be doing. So I had to look for somebody that have gone through that path, right? Which actually helped me. And then it was easier for me because I mean, I by God's mercy, I was surrounded with a lot of people that people I admired, who were actually doing the things I wanted to do. So God actually helps me on that. And then I had to now prayerfully speak to somebody, and I said, sir, I really want you. I want to no. Now before then, now this is it. Before speaking to the person, I had moments of, so he used to have meetings here and there, like small gatherings of meetings and all of that. Even though I was not close to him as at that point, but I had to start attending his meetings, right? So I didn't go directly and said because I mean I so from the beginning I also had I had this idea of watching people from afar, right? Okay, I see what this person is doing, just looking at people from afar. But that close contact of saying, okay, this person that is actively mentoring me, and he knows that I'm his mentee, was actually not there. So I had to come a little closer, attending his meetings here and there. In fact, so when I went there, like attending his meetings and all of that, I had to join. He had a WhatsApp group as at then, so I had to join his WhatsApp group. And every time there's a meeting, I'm right on time. I had to set my time. I'm always there, and I had to start gradually. So all of the recordings that he had done in the past, I had to look for them and start listening to them. So from there, I had to now get closer to this person. And it's like the more I was doing all of these activities, it's like I caught my. I mean, he noticed me, right, in all of those things I was doing. He noticed me, but he didn't want to, like, I mean, be in that space where so gradually I got close to him, and then I spoke to him, had moments with him, like, and first of all, I didn't go. My first conversation with him was not even about the mentorship. I had questions. I would just go and be like, okay, sir, this. I wanted to know more about this. This is something you said in one of your meetings. I didn't really understand. And all of those things, getting closer to him. And then from there, I had to now tell him, okay, I'll really this it. I want to be mentored. I want to be your mentee and all of that. And that was how it started.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story with us. There's so many there. What you said, there are so many layers to the things that you said. And from deciding not to just meet the person, no relationship built, nothing, to just ask the person to be your mentor. You had to be in the person's space, you had to be recognized by the person, you built some sort of track record with the person so that when you come up to ask the person to be your mentor, the person wouldn't, the situation wouldn't be awkward. Is in fact, now that I'm talking about it, building precedence to it, it now sounds like you want to start a relationship with somebody. For instance, a male, you want to start a relationship with a lady, you don't just see her. I know there are some few people that have done this thing before where they said, some of our fathers, when you hear them preach, they will say, the moment I saw her, I told her you are going to be my wife. No, not that time. The one where you want to build a relationship, you don't just see her. For instance, you're just walking out of a mall, or you're just she, you, she's just coming out from church as a first timer, and you just saw her and you be like, I want you to marry me. I don't think it works that way. You can liken that to that mentee mentor relationship where some relationship has to be built or established first, and then we can now move on to say, okay, I've seen this, I've seen that you do this, I've seen that you do that. This is where I want to go. You also mentioned that you were asked, you had to define where you wanted to go, which means there was a destination. and you knew where you are. There is a current position, and then there was a destination that you wanted to arrive at. So all this together, all this at once, made the whole thing. At first, you did not realize that you needed a mentor. However, conversing with a couple of people, they kept asking you one question kept recurring: Do you have a mentor? Do you have a mentor? Do you have a mentor? And you now decided, okay, this it was really time because you saw the need. Truly, I in my own from my observations, I have also seen people that do not actually have not come to the realization of the need for mentorship. What happened was that they are following the bandwagon. They've seen other people say that this person is my mentor, so they just say, okay, me too, I want the person to be my mentor. Not because they've decided anything, it's just the bandwagon effect. There's something, I think it
mm,
was Mike Murdoch that said it, or I heard it from Apostle Selma when he said there's something called the law of recognition.
mm,
When people don't recognize the need for something, they will never do it.
true.
If you have not recognized the need for a thing, then you decide that you, because other people are doing it, you, that is where what late Dr. Miles Monroe will say: if the purpose of the thing is not defined or known, abuse will be inevitable. Now, this
Mm,
is the thing. If you have not fully recognized the need for a relationship, uh, for having a mentor, you and you get into one of such relationships, there are chances, or the tendency is high, that you will abuse said relationship.
mm,
That's the idea.
very true.
So you waited till you saw that there was the need, you recognized the need for the thing, and then you went for it. But let me touch something you said in passing as if you didn't say it. You said, I hear from God. You mean with all your hearing from God, direct, you dey collect direct, you dey download the right. You hear from God, you get from the Holy Spirit, He gives you direction. I was telling some of my people, like, play. I said that sometimes this thing, uh, uh, the Holy Spirit is so sweet that he can tell
Mm,
you. Let me give you an instance. Me, he can tell me to go and fill your gas. Go and fill the second cylinder. The cylinder of gas is going to finish. Yes, that's how funny it is. And if I don't feel it, that one will finish. Like something like that. Can tell me. It can be, see, it can be simple as buy fuel today. I may not know why, but I'll just drive in, buy fuel. Tomorrow I wake up, there's fuel scarcity. It can be as simple as call this person. It can be as simple as
mm,
these very, very small things. So if you can tell you little things, can tell you big things. You can tell you things like
yeah.
one very funny, ridiculous one was go and turn off your gender's light. It was as simple as that. And I just stood up, went,
Mm,
changed over those lights. So you now you want to tell me how you hear from God, you get all these things. However, as you dey collect direct from Holy Spirit, you still want to collect from a mere man. Help me make it make sense. Do you
okay.
need a mentor when you have the Holy Spirit?
Mm. So, um, first of all, there's this saying by my pastor. He usually says that men are God's method. So it is very important to have people you listen to. Now, the Bible speaking in Hebrews chapter 6, verse 12, he says, follow them who through faith and patience have obtained the promise. So if there was no need for you to follow somebody, even Apostle Paul, he said, follow me as I follow Christ. So God knows that you hear from him. Place these people in our lives. He said, follow them who through faith and patience, they have already obtained that promise. So yours is to follow, is to follow. So I get that idea of God speaking to people like you. I mean, you hear God directly, but there are times where God will, because men are God's method, men are systems. There are men who are systems that God will have to. Um, your word is in the mouth of that person. In as much as you hear God, your word can also be in the mouth of that person. Like our spiritual leaders, for instance, these are people that God has set in our lives. So there are some certain things that you yourself, you will not even, God will not even speak to you directly. He will speak to the person that God has set in your life, right? So I get the idea of God speaking to people, but God also speaks to people that He has placed in your life to instruct you. So it is very important. It is still God that sets these people in our lives. So in the Bible also speaking that He said, I will give you shepherds after my own. So if God is saying all of these things, so it is also important to note that these men are important in our life. Now, I heard a story of Bishop David Oyedepo, where Daddy Joe went to meet him. He saw that he was going to have an accident. I mean, a plane crash rather, and he went that morning. So, as anointed as Bishop David Oyedepo is, God didn't speak to him directly. He spoke to Daddy Joe, and as his spiritual father, he went and prayed for him, and he went, and in as much as there was, I mean, a lot, but they arrived where they were going safely. So why didn't God speak to him directly? So even God knows that the idea of mentorship is very important. There are things that you will not even hear it yourself. God will still have to use men to speak to you. Yes, sir.
You see, you when you were mentioning something about Paul, let me tell you the illustration. What came to my head? What came to my
Yes.
mind? You know, when Paul was on his way to Damascus, he
Mm.
encountered the person he encountered.
Yes, yes,
The
yes, yes.
encounter was so, in our days they say it was so massive. The encounter was so memorable. It
It
was
was intense.
second to none. He had never
Yes.
seen anything like that before. That he asked, "Who are you, Lord?" He knew
Mm.
automatically that it was the Lord, it was God that encountered him.
Mm-hmm.
However, God still told him to go into the town. I will send you Ananias. He sent
Yeah.
Ananias, human being, a person you have had encounter with God by himself. But God still said, "Mm-mm, I will send you a human,"
Mm.
right? So I am also of the school of thoughts, as you said, that you can have the Holy Spirit, but you need a mentor too.
Yes.
Men are God's methods. Is something pastor will always say. Yeah, so our pastor is the same by the way. So he will always say men are God's method. There's another pastor
Mm.
that I heard a different way. He said uh, God's blessings come to men through men.
Mm.
Yes, as you said, follow those who through faith and patience have obtained the promise. Follow them. He will give us pastors or shepherds after his own heart. So he can also actually give you somebody to guide you as a mentor. I
Mm.
buy that 100%. I buy that 100%. So because I've seen people say, in fact, in my last session, I shared a post with my last guest, Dunsin.
Mm.
We were seeing where somebody said he was talking about, in fact, his own perception, and we spoke about that in the last session. If you not watch it, please go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. We said it in the last session where he said he asked somebody who his mentor was, and then the person said Pastor Dolapo Lawal was his mentor, and he was saying, "No, when did you meet Pastor Dolapo Lawal? He's not your mentor. You should have access to your mentor where you speak with him, he comes back, he speaks to you, things like that. So that was the context of the whole thing. But in the comment section, that was where I started seeing so many things. Where people were saying that this whole thing about mentor, leave it, you have the Holy Spirit, that's why you're making men of God, this and that.
Hmm.
Uh, but then, so there was a lot of argument about who a mentor is, who a role model is, who a spiritual father is, who a coach is. So all those talk, and then a lot of people, and I know a lot of Christians also think that no, I don't need. I have Holy Spirit. I have the Scripture. I don't think I know. I need a mentor in flesh. I think that they come in handy. They'll come in handy. They'll come in handy. So in your this is how you were able to get a mentor. This is your journey, your story, how you discovered that you needed a mentor. Now, but in your capacity, have you mentored anybody before?
Yes, yes, yes. I have.
Yes, you have. Okay, so let's put a pin on that. But before we dive into your you being a mentor to other people, in your relationship with your mentor, is there any notable mistake that you think you've made in the past? You are not making a mistake now that you think you can share. Can you share one of those with us? If there's none that is for the public ear, it's fine. But if is there any mistake you think you've made in your relationship with your mentor that you think can help somebody?
Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for that. I think one of the things was at first I I started seeing, so that was like my the first person I submitted to. So it was more of um one of the mistakes I made was I felt this person already has everything, right? So in fact, sometimes when I even look at him, there's nowhere how can I even support? There's nothing I thought I could do for this person, right? So almost every time it was more of me receiving, but I didn't know. So because it was actually my first time, so I didn't know there was something I could do. So it was more like I was just like I could not even think it like, okay, let me do this particular thing, because I always used to have that mindset of this person already has everything. He already has all he needed. But at the long run, I realized, even though I started doing it without knowing it, was that sharing the post office meetings, I mean, being there to help in little ways I could, was actually me supporting this person. So now this is how I even see it. The whole idea of mentorship is how God has put this in. This is how I was seeing the picture in my mind. On We are all on a journey. So the place where your mentor is currently is where you want to get to. Let's say from point A, B, C. You are at point A. Your mentor is, let's say, at point B. He also needs to get to point C. So your mentor also has a mentor. It's a chain. So you saying that you don't know what to do to help this person, which was a state where I was. Now, that particular chain, what we are all doing is, at your point A, they say help, you can help your mentor, which is at point B, to get him to point C, no matter how little it is. So it is actually a chain that we are all following. So you have a mentor that also has a mentor, and the mentor also has a mentor. So, so you see, it's a journey that people are going through. So where you are and where he is. So that little thing you think it doesn't really matter is also helping him to get to point C. So no matter how little it is, I think that was one of those things. I didn't know that I could actually help. Like there was something I could do to support this person. So, and sometimes the idea of support that we have is finances. which is, I would say, is just one of it. In fact, sometimes your mentor don't even need your money, right? So a lot of times they don't even need. In fact, they are even doing. Let's say they are even your helper, right? So, but sometimes when we think about support, the first thing that comes to our mind is finance, which is a very wrong thing. I think that was the point where I was. I felt I didn't have anything to support this person, right? But one of the things I now realize as the journey went by, is those little things you do. It's not about money, but those little things you do here and there are actually support. So I would say that was like one of the mistakes I made. So sometimes don't sit down and think that this person, he doesn't have any need, he's successful, everything is going well with him. No, sir. There's a point, in fact, he's also on a journey. He's going somewhere. So you can't say he has everything. Because if you look at it carefully, your mentor also has a mentor. Why does he have a mentor? It's because there's something he's also seeing. That position where he is, he doesn't want to remain there. He's also on a journey. So don't just sit down and think that, okay, there's nothing I can help this person with, because he's also on a journey. There's a lot you can help. So that is one of the mistakes that a lot of times people make, because they feel like there's nothing they can support their mentor with, or they don't have the capacity to help this person. And it is not correct. You have something to also offer. It is a journey that we are all on, but the only difference is that your mentor is ahead of you. So there's something you can also do to support him to get to where he's going. Do you know that the more he's going up, the more you are also coming up? Because his experiences are what is now helping you to also come up. So that was like one of the mistakes I would say I made, and which is one of those things I've seen in recent times, where people feel like they're meant to have everything. So they are just coming to collect. They are just coming to receive. I understand that part. There's the receiver, and there's you receiving, and then there are times where you also give. And giving is not always finances, which is a very big mistake. Giving is not always finances. So that was like one of the mistakes, and I see a lot of people still making that mistake. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I was mute. So in our last session, our last guest, she was saying that she has an event coming up, and then a lot of people, there are people that are volunteering already to be part of to volunteer to be part of the event. Some are ushers, some are spreading the news, some are, what do they call that now? What they're doing, they're posting it online, they're sharing their work and things like that. That's a form of giving. One of our guests said something must go, something has to give.
Mm,
Resources, time,
yes.
resources, time. Sometimes virtue. Something has to leave. Something has to give for the whole thing to happen. Now, thank you. You mentioned that you have mentored other people. You've had your own your mentees. So my first question with regards to that is, did the persons you are mentoring, did they come to you or you went to them? Like, did you see them and pick them to be your mentees, or they were the ones that saw you and they came to you and requested for mentorship, or both happened?
Okay, so yes, thank you, sir. I would say both happened. There were moments where I've had people coming to meet me, and then there were some I saw, and I sensed to mentor this person, right? So I'll speak on the first. I mean, I know of people who have come to meet me, but there was. Let me just give this particular one. I this person just walked up to me. I've never met this person before. In fact, that was even the first day the person saw me. So it was at an event, and the next thing, he met me after the event. Da 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 da. He really enjoyed. He would like me to mentor him. I'm like, okay, but I'm like, okay. So I gave the person my number, right? And Funny enough, the person sent me a message, hi. And in fact, from the whole conversation, I just realized that this person didn't know, he wasn't even serious. Because you can't just you know that, see, I've seen, um and it's something that people do a lot. You just come into somebody's DM, you just say hello, and that's it. Right? People are busy. You can't just come and say hello and you leave it there. So, and the person kept doing it. Like, I just realized, this person was not. And one of the things I think was the issue, was the fact that the person just met me. He has not met me. I mean, we've not. That was the first time. So there was no relationship built before then. So it was difficult for the person to now build a relationship. And one of the things that people fail to realize most times is, in this mentorship journey, you are the one who is in need of a mentor. You chase your mentor most of the times, except the ones that, okay, the mentor says that, okay, I need to mentor this person. But if it's you coming, you know that. So for you to even say you need a mentor, you have come to that point where you realize you need help, or you need somebody to guide you on where you are going to. It is not the mentor's job to be looking for you and be saying, where, I mean, I don't know if you understand. So, and I've seen this happen a couple of times where the people, mentees, are waiting for the mentor to reach out. They are waiting for the mentor to say this, to say that, to tell them to do this, to do that, which is not supposed to be. Now, I've also had moments where I've also mentored people. I mean, I see this person and I realize, I sense in my spirit that I need to mentor this person. So most of the times is, I begin to give them, I mean, start, if it's somebody I've known, I begin to give them tasks here and there. Okay, please, I just needed you to help me with XYZ. So in that way is getting to know where they are. So from all of those giving them tasks here and there, you tend to know if this person is open for mentorship. Now, let me even give an instance. I had a mentor that was the one that came to me, and this is how it started. So I just realized at some point he would just call me out of the. In fact, I was not even the closest person to him. It was in a team, so I was not even the closest. I was just the very quiet one and all of that. So I realized he was always. I'm like, we have people that have gone. We have fathers already, so why me? But I just realized he kept giving me tasks. He kept giving me tasks. And the truth is that at some point I felt like, this person is he using me? Because it got to it got to a point where,
He's using you.
I was being used. And it got to a point where I and that was when I was still in school. There were times where he would just call me, where are you? Sir, I'm at home. He'd be like, okay, I need you to go and do. See, it he didn't even care if I was busy doing anything. He would just call and then give a task. He just wants it done. And I just realized something, sir. That growing up, I've always had this, and I think it's one thing that a lot of mentees don't really have, is a heart posture of honor. So you can't see, is it, sir, this thing of honor is one thing that a lot of mentees do not have, and it's a heart posture. We're not talking about human worship. We're not saying you should bow down. No, no, no. It's, sir, if you truly honor somebody, there's 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 a way you 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 go about your activities with this person. There's a way you don't even take lightly things that has to do with this person. It is a heart posture. It's one of those things I had. So I was already honoring this person. So he was just, I mean, so because of the honor I had for him, when he said do this, I would just jump on it, do this, even if it wasn't convenient for me. In fact, a lot of times it was not convenient for me. The truth is that at a couple of times I felt used. I heard I was being used. I mean, I was told I was being used and all of that. But sir, the truth is that at the long run, the things I learned in that period, I don't think anybody in that team learned. In fact, those things are, I would say, are the things that have built me, are the things, those are the qualities that are still present. Those are the things that I'm still using till today. So it is a two-way thing. I've been in that position where I've reached, not like directly reach out, but giving tasks to people here and there. And from there, I've noticed the ones that are willing, they get to that point where they know that, okay, this person, you can really see that they are really active and wants to be mentored. While there are other people who have come and say they want to be mentored. And I mean, from there, we take it up. And I've had people where they people have learned, in fact, I've had the good and the bad, I would say. The ones that, in fact, it just ended. I didn't even know how it ended, but it sure ended. There's no communication. Because at some point you realize some of the mentees, I reach out to them. Sometimes they get offended that they've not heard, you didn't check up on me. And so you hear funny things. So I've had those moments where I had I mean, people who I had to start actively mentoring, and then others who came to meet me. Yes, sir.
So this is no shades to any generation, but a lot of
Mm,
them from experience, they are of the generation after the millennials. I won't call their name, but the generation after the millennials, they're the ones that usually feel, those people that small things they are talking about their mental health. Usually,
yes,
they're
yes.
the ones. Yes. So, but there's something. I was mute. I was just saying powerful. There's something you said powerful. It's so. If I'm going to forget anything that we said in this session, I will not forget this thing. Sometimes when a person that is ahead of you begins to pick unusual interest in you
Mhm.
and starts giving you tasks, giving you assignments, giving you things to do, don't waste that. That's kairos for you. Don't waste it.
Yes.
It
Mm,
means the person is trying to check the level that you are, or the person is picking unusual interest in you to
mm,
invest in you. There is a becoming that happens when you are part of the process
yes.
of making something else happen.
Hmm.
How do I say this? I will usually say this after service, or I'll send a message to my group in church, and I'll tell them that um, if you are busy about building God's house, you are building yourself. Let's not even talk about what God is doing in you. What is happening with you is that you are building yourself while you are trying to make something happen. So while you bring something to fruition, or when you do something and it comes to life, there is a process of becoming that happens to you. You are actually becoming something. I will give this illustration where I've seen this happen clearly. There are people while we were in the university, there are people that were were executives in fellowships, or people that were leaders in their departments, or departmental fellowship, or SUG, or any other thing in leadership positions, or when they were going to do something, they ought to do something and they did it well. Sir, I can categorically tell you that there is a huge difference, a huge distinction between those people and those people that had something to do. These ones, I'm telling you clearly, the ones that I have seen something to do in the university, and they just did it anyhow. or people that were employed or employed to do something. And there is this attitude where they will say, it's not my father's business, it's not my father's office, you know, it's not my own. I learned this from my own mentor. He said, what you do for one, you do for all. You are indirectly building a lifestyle for yourself. You are indirectly building a character of not giving your best to something. You will find it difficult to give your best to another thing, even when it's yours. When you have already built a reputation or a character or an attitude of not giving your best. I've said this somewhere before. I said there is something that happens to you where you are becoming an expert in the opposite, right? You become an expert in the opposite. What do I mean? You 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 said, okay, you said that I'm going to read a book every week. I'm going to read a book every week. I'm going to read a book every month. I'm not even going to talk about your daily habits now. You pick the book and you can't read 2 pages. This month you wake up, the month passes and you don't do it. And then you now start telling yourself, okay, what I'm going to do is the moment I wake up from sleep, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pray and then pick up the book and read. When one day comes, you wake up, you pick up the book, you don't read. The second day comes, you pick up the book, you don't read. Third day comes, you wake up, you pick up the book, you read. The fourth day comes, you wake up, you pick up your phone, you don't read the book. Now, what is happening with you is that if you check out in 1 week, the number of days that you got up to do exactly that thing that you wanted to do was 2 out of 7. 5 out of the other days, when you woke up, instead of after praying, you pick up the book, you prayed, you picked up the phone, or you prayed, you picked up another thing, or you say you are going to commit to doing something else, but you end up not doing it. What you are actually doing is that in 7 days, the thing you are becoming a master of the thing of the opposite of what you initially wanted to do because you have consciously been doing it. You've been doing that thing over and over and over again. Because you've been doing that over and over again, you have now become a master in the opposite of the thing that you initially wanted to do. So by giving your best to somebody else's work, you are building a character of always giving your best, irrespective of the thing that you're doing or who you're doing it for. So excellence is built in you. But the moment you start doing, this guy is using me, I will not even give him my best. You are unconsciously building a character of incompetence, a character of laxity, a character of like a destrousness. Is that a word? I don't know. You're building, you're building a system of always not doing what you ought to do, and you are now becoming a master in the opposite of the thing that you initially wanted to become a master of, because you have consistently built the wrong character. So uh, you will know if in some of the sessions we've actually spoken, sir, about people that are are users. There are people that are like they are mentors, but they abuse the relationship because they are using the people that are always with them. You are always the person is not even gaining as much as what you are doing. So people should be able to recognize that also and be like, oh no, this guy is not willing to share, he's not giving me his best and things like that. We should be able to know which one is which. Okay. Let me quickly see if there's any question or any contribution on TikTok, on Facebook. Let me see. Okay, there's no question or contribution on TikTok, on Facebook. Let me see. Okay, just comments. All right. There's no comments. There's no contribution or question yet. All right. Fine. So now, one of the things you mentioned while you were saying is there was a time you felt You were being used. Okay. But I want to believe that in the course of your relationship with your own mentor, there was a time that your mentor said something or he told you to do something and that thing was not comfortable or it didn't sit well with you or you didn't want to do it. How did you handle it? What did you do in that situation? Did you go ahead to still do it or you didn't do it or you got another instruction from the Holy Spirit? What happened?
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Well, I doubt it was. I had those moments, not just a moment, right? I had those moments where my mentor said I should do X, Y, Z. Deep down, sir, it was not convenient. But a lot of those times, it was not convenient for me. It's like those moments where, and I think is coupled with the fact that I grew up. I have quiet, calm kind of person, and I always like my space. So and one thing I like is let's have things organized. If you want me to do this for you tomorrow, tell me today that we are doing this by tomorrow. So I can I can plan ahead, plan like mentally be ready for that particular. But I've had times where my mentor will just call me out of the
Out of the
blues.
blue.
Faith, where out of the blue, sir. Faith, where are you? I'm at home. I need meet me at so place. And it's not like he's asking, "What are you doing?" The question is, "Where
Yes.
are you?" Next thing is, "Meet me at so place," or "I need you to go to this place. I need to get this thing done." And in my head, sir, and the truth is that okay, I think it's another thing is maybe because of how I grew up. I'm from the north. I didn't grow up learning to say no to instructions. So most of those times when they say do this, I will say yes, sir. And when I drop the call, I'm like, oh, what is going on here? Can't this man just ask me what am I doing? So today I'll go and do what I've been asked to do. In fact, a lot of those times it was not convenient for me, but I will still go ahead and do. And then one thing I was always telling myself in those periods was I was on my way going to do that particular thing. I'm like anyway, this is a process. Let me just do it. And the truth is, it was not something I'd planned to do. It was just a thought that was just floating into my mind and say, well, this is just a process. Let me just do this. Let me just and the more I kept it, so you were saying something on character being built, very important. And I would say that a lot of things I learned was from just obeying those instructions, even though it was not convenient for me. I would just go obey the instruction, do this. A lot of things I've learned, a lot of character that have been built in me came as a result of just obeying instructions and not in fact most of those things were not in the so I would say that a lot of times I didn't really okay let me put it this way they there were not enough time to say okay your mentor sat down and tell you okay XYZ do this is what to do this is what to do this and one of those things
Mhm.
for me was that I was learning by observation. So I would see him do this and it was one thing that actually helped me also seeing him do the things he do, seeing them rather, I would say, doing the things they do.
Mhm.
Some of those things you are looking for are not them saying it. It's in you seeing them do those things. And that is, and I see that that is one of the mistakes that most people make when they are in close relationship with their mentors. You are expecting him to say, okay, today I'm going to give you 16 keys to success. No, sir. It is in you observing it is in you observing the things he do. Like, okay, how
Mhm.
And it is in paying attention to details. How did he respond to? How did he handle this matter? How did he speak to this person? How was his phone call with this person? How did he respond to this other person? If you are in that space where he is speaking to his mentor, what is his attitude towards his mentor? When he's talking about his mentor, how is he? How does he speak about these things? These are the things that people should look out for. I'm not waiting to hear 18 keys to success or no, you have to do this, you have to do that. Picking those things one after the other. So and again, sir, still on the question you asked, after doing those things that I was asked to do, even though they were not convenient for me, there were times I'll be expecting to hear my mentor will say, "Wow, you did a very great job. Thank you so much." So most of those times I did not hear that, and I went back and I'm like, can't this man just even say thank you for what I did? I'm not saying, and there were times he showed appreciation, but one of the things that you need to also understand is that your mentor is not your cheerleader.
Mm,
It's not there to say
mentor is not your leader.
your mentor is not your cheerleader. He is
Mm-hmm.
your mentor. So there's nothing you are doing that is new to him. In fact, you are not even the first person he's mentoring.
Abi?
So
Yes.
there have been those moments where they were not convenient, but I went ahead to do. And the truth is that I'm grateful to God that I obeyed those instructions because it was in the obeying of those instructions that I left that I am where I am today. So I did them regardless of convenience, not convenience, and all.
Your mentor is not your leader.
It's not.
Ah, yes, it's not. A lot of times they may not tell you, but then sometimes you're going to have different personalities.
Yes.
Some your mentor could be so nice, like he tell you, please, I need you to do this, please. Sometimes your mentor will just give you instructions. I want to tell you that because we share same kind of personality, I rather be just calm, quiet, reserved, and not say anything. I have mostly worked with people that are spontaneous,
Mm.
mentors that will just call you and tell you we're doing this tomorrow. We're having a very, very big event next week. Sir, you said it's very, very big. At least we didn't do publicity. Let's do proper publicity. Then, no, no, no. We can't wait. We can do it now. Or you call you at 2 a.m. and tell you that this is what is in my mind now. As it's coming now, I'm telling you. Okay, me, I'm a thinker, I'm a strategist. Can we just do this? Let's make it perfect. You say, no, 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 we can't make it perfect. Let's do this. Okay, so you design this, do this. Yeah. Oh, wow. And sir, we'll do it. Ruthless execution, I learned it from mentor. See, ruthlessness in execution. They will not, as it comes, as if it's supposed to be done, we're going to do it. So I am there still thinking. So it has actually helped me also in knowing that just execute, just execute. In the spirit of execution and not thinking too much. That's how we started this series. I had every reason. See, I had every legitimate constitutional reason not to start, but I started
Mm.
anyway. And we're here, and we have gone halfway. We've gone halfway, and it's been an amazing ride. So it will happen. It will happen. Not everything you're meant to. There are people that are going to be. Take this illustration. Let me tell you something that's crossed my mind before.
Mm.
Moses was a stammerer.
Yes.
Usually, stammerers they don't have very long strand of patience.
Mm-hmm. Very
And
true,
we
sir.
actually saw it even with Moses in the Bible. He dey vex.
Mm.
However, I also think he's patient because it was evident in the scripture that the Israelites dispersed the guy.
Mm.
But Joshua successfully learned from him, successfully became who God wanted him to become, even when
Mm-hmm.
he learned under what we will call a hot-tempered boss.
Mm.
So your mentor is not always going to be all nice, all kisses and roses, hugging you, carrying you on his shoulder. It's going to be tough love sometimes.
Yeah.
I heard it all time from Apostle Joshua Selman. He says when people are clapping and everything, he says anytime he goes to his mentor, and his mentor is not popular. That's one very funny thing. He said anytime he goes to his mentor, his mentor sits him down and tells him all the things that he should have done better.
Mm.
This is not it. There is bigger. There are bigger things to do. Just imagine, just look at Apostle Selman and his mentor telling him to calm down. And so it's not always going to be, okay, you've done well, but there is more. As we've always learned, the reward for good work is more work,
Yeah.
and that's what's going to happen. So sometimes your mentor could be a different kind of person, very cool, nice, level-headed. Sometimes the person could be hot, but then he has put your word in their mouth. He has put your
Mm.
word in the lips for some of them. You should stay to get that which you ought to get. Right? Stay and get that you ought to get. All right. So now we've answered that question. Two more. Just this, my second to the last question. Was there any time that you gave your mentee an advice, or he came to ask you for something and you told him exactly him or her what to do, but the mentee didn't do it, or the mentee went to go and do what's in their mind?
I'll,
Have you had that
I'll,
experience before? Oh,
I'll
you
say
have.
they've
Okay, so if you've had that experience before, how did you handle it? What did you do?
so I've had that experience before, yeah. And coming to say, they need to do this and need to do this. And from what I saw, I said, okay, let's do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. And the person was actively listening, sir. And at the end of the day,
Actively.
he went to do what was in his mind. And then the thing went wrong. So the person came back and he was so the question was, what did you do? It's not like it went wrong. What did you do? The person was like, eh. That's where they started stammering. And I knew that something was wrong somewhere. Because I said, okay, do XYZ. And you went to add another thing to what I said. And now the thing went wrong. So I just realized at that point. So it was not a thing for me to say this person was not serious or anything. So I also realized that okay, maybe now you know that people are different, right? And your approach to different mentees will actually be different. So the first time I, when that the whole thing went wrong, I had to sit him down. I said, okay, this is now bringing them to understand that why you are giving instruction is not because it's not because in fact you were the person that came for instruction and now they've given you instruction, you went to do what was in your mind, then you shouldn't have come if you had what to do in your mind, right? So now sitting the person down, making him understand that this is how this thing is being done. Now there are some people that sometimes they do some things, in fact they not unconsciously. So I had to sit him down to understand, okay, why did you now add this to what I said? And the person started explaining, and I realized there was a gap somewhere, and which was something I had to correct. Right. So in those moments, so I just realized something was wrong and I had to address it. And moving forward, I saw that the person actually picked from the advice that was given to them. So that was like how the person I had to handle that particular issue. First of all, knowing why did the person do go contrary to the instruction that was given to him. And then I realized after him explaining, I realized that there was a gap and it was something I needed to address. So I had to address it, and the person understood that okay, this thing this is how it's supposed to be, and that was how I was able to handle that issue.
Yeah, you're a very nice person. You know, there are mentors that when you tell him to do something, you come back, they will shout at you. I told you so. You are very stubborn. You are that. You are this. You are that. I will never get out of my house. So I've seen that play out. However, I am
Mm,
of the opinion that your mentees have the right to make mistakes also.
yes.
Your instruction does not eliminate the process for them. It makes
Mm,
it easier. It does not eliminate, it just makes it helps them. They achieve that. So you're a nice person. Now, this is my last question. We spent an hour on this session. I didn't even know. I just checked the time now and I'm like, oh wow, we just started. Okay.
yeah.
So when I told you when we spoke about you being a guest on this meeting and this is you started seeing some of the clips of what we had and there was probably something in your mind, something you will be like, okay, this is something I would like to say on this session. This is I would like to say this while I'm speaking. So maybe you had something in your mind. Is there any question you wish I asked you that I didn't ask you? If there is, help me ask the question and respond to it. There is something. It could be in form of your final words. But is there something that you wish we mentioned in this particular session that we have not yet mentioned? Is there anything of such?
Okay. So I'm just going to speak generally. Um, so I think one of those things I would say is not in form of a question, but like in just a way to round up everything. Is first of all you need to understand that mentors are God's gift to you,
God's gift.
because in fact I would say they are a form of God's mercy to you.
Uh,
How that God is bringing somebody to your life to eliminate mistakes. In fact, they've gone through that part, and God is bringing them into your life so you don't go through the same mistakes they've gone through. More like making your work easier. So if you realize that mentors are God, it will change your how you see these people.
mm,
And now the issue of honoring these people will not be an issue. And one of the things I'll still want to hammer on is the Bible say honor all men, right? Just I mean it's something that everybody's supposed to, you're supposed to honor people you meet. But
mhm,
and which is something that the truth is that in our recent times now, honor is something I would say they see it as a church thing. So when it comes to secular space, there's nothing like that. This space we are here for business and all of that. But you see, the idea of honor is something that you should take seriously, because there's a way you honor the person, even if you are not yet, he's not yet mentoring you. There's a level of honor you will show to this person. He will pick interest in you. In fact, I've let me just take this instance. There was a time in my, I think I was still in university then. Either I was in my 200 level, I remember 100 level. Our president then, I mean, this guy was, I was seeing this man as, this man was excellent, brain, everything, spirituality check, brains check, academics check, everything. And there was I truly honored this person. And I was not really close to him. Funny enough, I was never close to him. But I was seeing him from afar. Every time I get too close to him, my conversation with him were just, and it's like he knew something about me. And then one of these days, he called me. He said, Faith, come. Sir, this man began to pray for me. we've never had any serious conversation, but it was a heart posture I had toward this person. And he began to release words, he began to bless me. And I never thought of it until like some years down the line. I'm like, this was just a heart posture. So most of those times, first of all, understanding that your mentors are gift from God to you. This is God shortening your journey. Something that will take a year to do by yourself. Somebody is coming to your life to say, okay, do X, Y, Z. And then you just do it and you're already at where you're going to. So having a heart posture of honor towards men, towards your mentors will go a long way. Because when that is in place, I've seen places where just by honoring somebody, being in the space of that person, showing honor. I mean, first of all, it's a heart posture. That's one thing that people really need to understand. It's a heart posture that now goes out in how you communicate, in how you do things around this person. And then I've been in positions where they would just say something. In fact, it was not even related. Just the way we said from the beginning that sometimes your word, the mouth of the people that God has placed in your life. Because of honor, sir, there are times where somebody will say something and you went, it's not like that was what you planned. He didn't even plan to say it. But there's this honor that you've shown him, and just from conversation, he begins to say things that you know that these are the things I've actually been, but these are the things I've been. You are not seeing things from a different perspective. So I would say that the honor is something you need to give attention to. When you say this is somebody you are calling your mentor, you should have a heart post of honor towards this person. Very, very important. Yeah. I think that's one of the things I really need to that's the final thing I would like to say, because I've seen where if you really honor a person, in fact, it will not be hard for you to relate with this person. It will not. There are some things where, in fact, it will help a lot of things will be easier for you, just because of that hard posture. You honor this person. So I think honor is one thing that people don't really give attention to. So they just see it's just mentorship. You're just in the space of this person, and life is just going on. When he says things, he doesn't say it. I think I read I was reading a book by Mike Murdoch. He said he had this person. There was somebody that was working very close to him, and the person he kept hearing the person was telling people that this is my mentor, this is my mentor. And then he said he called the person one of those days and he asked him, "What were the last three? What were the last three questions you asked him?" And the person could not. He thought for a while. In the last 30 days, he had not asked him any question. First of all, honor. Number two, you are looking at this person that you are calling. The truth is that sometimes people think mentorship is once you just appear, you've spoken to this person, the next thing he's giving you line upon line, precept upon precept. That
Precepts.
is not. Some of those things will come by you asking questions. Sir, I saw you did this thing. Why did you do this the way you did it? In fact, sometimes you don't even ask questions. I've been in spaces. In fact, there was a time I was so close to God. I mean, I I was in a space where every time he's doing whatever he's doing, I'm observing him. I'm seeing how he speaks to people, how he responds to issues. In fact, there were moments. The next thing, I'm just waiting. How is this man going to handle this case? And then he will just show up and say, "Okay, let's do X, Y, Z." And then he speaks to this person, and I'm like, in my head, I was already calculating how are we going to solve this issue. And the next thing was I was waiting. Let me see how this person is going to handle. Now, observation. Most of the things you learn from your mentor will not come by him saying it.
Exactly.
It is by you observing it, looking at how he's doing things, taking notes of details. I read this book, The Footsteps of Jerusalem was sharing his his experience with Kenneth Copeland, and then he said a lot of most of the things he learned were by observation. He saw how Kenneth Copeland would do this. In fact, down to how he prayed. I remember, I think there was a book where he was talking about, there was a time he Kenneth Copeland asked them to pray concerning, and then he said he was at the other corner. He was observing Kenneth Copeland. If he stands to pray, he will also stand to pray. He said Kenneth Copeland will pray. At some point, he will open his Bible. When he saw that he has opened his Bible, he will also go and carry his Bible and open. Even though he didn't know the particular scripture that the man was, but he would shall open his Bible. So
Mm-hmm.
he was seeing everything that the man was doing. As a mentee, you will not, you will just, when you see your mentor reading a book, he doesn't need to tell you to go and read that book. No, no, no. You see him reading, sir. That is to tell you what you are doing is that you are literally seeing, okay, these are the things that has brought this person to this, to where he is. When you go to his shelf, look at it
Yes.
here. He has it in that place. Start buying those. If you don't have the money to buy it, start buying one after the other. Or you can pick one book from his shelf and start reading before you now get your own copy. So it's not the thing of, okay, and mistake of people are waiting for instruction. No, 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 no. You observe everything that is happening. How is he doing this thing? How does it work? How does he to people? When is, if your mentor is a speaker, when he's upstage to speak, how does he start his, how does he start conversation? How does he start speaking? What are the things that he the I mean, these are the things that a lot of people don't know that they need to learn when it comes to communication, like speaking to people. Like when you go upstage, how do you start communicating with people? How do you bring, set the tone, I mean the atmosphere of the people you are speaking to? Those are the things that, if you are in a space and you have a mentor, and this the, what literally, like we said, your mentor is somebody that have passed through where you are going to. So if you look at it, maybe that person spent hours upon hours on YouTube videos learning, paid for courses to learn how to people in public. Now you have this person, you are carrying his bag, following to conferences. You should observe, how does this person speak? After the meetings, how does he speak to people? How does he engage with other people? These are the little things that you are taking note of. You are not sitting down to wait for him to have a session with you and say, okay, bring your notes. Today we are going to talk about leadership, or tomorrow we are going to discuss finances. No, sir, you will not even have those moments.
You may not. You may not.
If you will not even have those moments. So it is, and again, another way to unlock the things that are inside is by you asking questions, reasonable questions. You don't just appear in their, in fact, sit down before you meet them, sit down, think about the questions, write
Reasonable
them
question.
down. Not just, don't even
Reasonable.
just say you have them in your head, write them down.
Yes.
When you read that, you read the question in your mind, okay, this is the question I want to ask this person when I meet him today.
Mm.
Don't just, in fact, most of those things, it is when you ask questions, in fact, specific questions for matter. Because most times you have people come into, I mean, they ask questions that are not really
Generic
specific.
questions. Yes.
Then you will not really get the, but when you ask specific questions, this is what I'm asking, this is what I need to know. That is when you begin to get value of from all of it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Sir, yeah, you don't worry. You start. Don't worry. I won't say this online. When you were speaking, yeah, there are
Mm,
there are scenarios and instances that kept coming to mind. When I
mm,
met my mentor, he didn't know until when I told him. Any book I see on his table, in his house, in his car, I take a picture of the book. I start saving money to buy that same book. I had a books
mm,
person. I will just, he will not know until when we have a conversation and I'm spitting things that he has seen in print. You know that
mm,
that's
mm,
serious. This guy. One day he just asked me to speak on something, and he was baffled. He was surprised at the things that I was saying.
mm.
He never knew that I had those stuff in me. And how? Truly, I literally, I will snap a book that I've seen with him. If I see, for me and him, I have never gotten to that point where I wanted to borrow a book from him. But for me, I
Mm.
wouldn't have a problem. I have given some of my mentees my books, but not all of my books. There are some books I've given free. There are some I've given access to some books. There are some books that I said, don't touch it.
Mm.
Don't touch it. Go and buy your own. I've been that. That one is there. But this thing,
Yes.
in fact, recently I went out with somebody, one of my guys like that, and we went to somebody. Somebody was starting a business, and we went to check out the place and then discuss a little about how the business was. So I listened to the person. I listened to the person, but the person was not asking me a question.
Mm.
Right? The person was just telling me what he has done. And when we left, when we entered my car and then we were driving away, I just turned to that my guy. I said, "This is the wrong way to start business.
Mm.
Don't ever start a business like this. Do this, do this, do this. Look for this way to exit. I can't give people free consultation on this life, so I'm not even say it. Look for
Yeah.
this way to do XYZ, then do now because the guy offered if I was going somewhere else, the guy volunteered to go with me. So I went to that place. After that yeah, event that we went for, we passed through
Mm.
that place. I had to give him a free like I've had to give him a free consultation session. So sometimes it's not
Mm.
just going to happen. It's not like I'll sit down and give you structured. This is this. Today we're having class on leadership, as you said. No, as much
Mm.
as mentorship is a structured dispensing of knowledge, it's not. It's sometimes you can't buy the moment. Sometimes
Yeah.
they come in moments. Sir, anytime I go to Yola, there is this guy. He works. He has his job. He's a very good guy, but he will usually offer to drive me around. He
Mm.
usually offer to do so. But there are people in Abuja that have met me and be like, I want to learn public speaking. I like the whenever you come up to speak and your mode of delivery. How do you do it? How do you prepare? Now, but this guy, I was already Yola. There was an event. I was
Mm.
not supposed to speak, but when they heard that I was in town, they squeezed out time for me to speak. It was like 5 to 7 minutes.
Mm.
Sir, I mean it. 5 to 7 minutes. I came, I was there, because I had to catch a flight that same day.
Yes.
So I was there, I sat down, they were speaking, people were speaking, and some were unorganized, some very good delivery. But I had
Mm.
just 5 minutes, sir. 5 to 7, I can't remember, but 5 to 7 minutes to deliver what I needed to deliver. So I was sitting there, I knew what I wanted to say, and I went there. I one of my most cherished speaking moments was that 5 to 10 minutes.
Mm.
That guy just came to take a video of me, just here and there, just assist me, drive me to the airport, and that was what the guy was doing. When we left the place, I
Mm.
was telling him about this guy. That guy shouldn't have been speaking the way he's speaking. This guy should improve. I
Mm.
heard him last year. He's sounding the same way. This other person, she's doing a lot, or he's doing a lot. But if the person can work on his delivery or what, prepare well to speak, yeah. Then I
Mm.
told him, I, sir, I downloaded the trick that I used in that
Mm.
five because that 5 minutes talk I did give was to I knew the principles I applied on public speaking, where I got the information that I gave them, how I said what I said, how it was powerful, inspirational, and
Mm.
unforgettable. So from the guy driving me from that event to
Mm.
the airport, I was talking to him about how to speak in public. If I was
Mm.
going to sell that course, I was going to charge at least, sir, at least, if I like the people, I'll charge them $50 for people that are coming up. But for my
Or
real clientele, I'll charge them $500.
$100.
That's the thing. So in that conversation, after we were gone, he dropped me and I went. I sat down on the flight. I was remembering everything. I said, I remember three guys that have kept following me and said, sir, just organize small public speaking class for us, please.
Mm.
And I said, I kept telling these guys, we'll fix a date, we'll fix a date. But this guy did not even ask me. All he
But,
did was he
but he
came to
got it.
drive me.
He got
Yeah.
it by.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. He got it by
I say he got it by service.
service on a platter of gold, sir. Now I
Wow.
don't even know if the guy is going to use it or he likes it or it made sense. I mean, I did it. I was just telling him. It was
Mm,
almost a 20 minutes drive. I was talking to him ceaselessly. I only stopped when I told him that let's stop because we usually don't have cash. Let's get cash so that we can pay at the airport gate. That was when I stopped.
mm.
And I thought I should just tell him that. So these things happen. These things happen. Ask questions. Be in the place of service. Honor. In fact, now that I'm speaking about the guy. I feel like I should call the guy. I'll just give him a call and ask him how he's doing. And these are the things that you do to provoke some things that you don't know that you need, but it will be given to you. Sir, I
Sir,
am immensely grateful.
sir, sorry. One of the things I would just want to
Sir,
add
ask.
from what you
If you
just
like
said now.
multiply, don't just add.
Now, another thing to, like you just mentioned it now, another thing to pull out virtue from your mentor is service.
Service.
Because from what you just said now, there are moments where you are not there to actively ask them any question, or you
Mhm.
came into their and you are helping them with XYZ.
Of
And
course.
in that 5 to 10 minutes of whatever you are doing, the person will say,
Mhm.
a conversation will just come. I mean, you start a conversation and the person tells you one, two, three things. And before you know it, these are the things that will help you. So again, it is not your service to a mentor it is an access. It's a key to getting what you need.
Key, sir. The key.
But sometimes people see it as I mean, they are focused, there's something they know. We need to have a session, so we need to sit down. You will never have that time to sit down to talk.
You need to see that with PowerPoint and iPad.
PowerPoint and iPad. So let me just share this. There was I followed a
Yes.
mentor to he needed to go. I mean, there was an event and all of that. I sensed that no, I need to go with this man. So I asked him, I said, I don't know if I can follow you to this. And I mean, so we went just the way you are sharing. From where I mean, coming back, he was just saying a few things here and there. So this is how I was there to ask him that question. I
Mm-hmm.
only followed him
Mm-hmm.
where he was going. And then after we're done, we're just coming back, having a conversation. And then we stopped by somewhere. He was just saying a lot of things that I did not ask him. But because I was willing to offer to help, in fact, to serve him, that was one of
Service.
those things that unlocked. So your service is also a key. In fact, it's also a key to unlock a lot of things from your mentor.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
just one
sir.
of those things. I add.
Mm. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wish we will not end this conversation. We're pitying the Gen Zs that have short attention span. So we'll just let them we'll let them have some time. If they want to hear us, they need a second if they need a, a second part of this series, episode 8 part 2, we'll give it to them. But for now, we have to stop here. Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's been a long day, but then I am really, really grateful. Thank you for dispensing all you dispense for free. But I want to make everybody know that your time, the time that the reason why we say pay attention is because attention is a currency. If you
Mm,
actually pay attention and take action on the things that you've heard tonight, I can tell you, if it doesn't carry you straight to your destination, it's going to propel you and give you speed to get there
mm.
faster. Thank you so much, Mr. Faith. Thank you so much, Mr. Faith. His name is Faith Tambaya. You can look for him on social media. Faith Tambaya. He's the only Faith Tambaya that I've met in my life. And I call him Reverend Tambaya. But then Reverend Tambaya is in Panama. All right, so thank you so much, Mr. Faith. Thank you, everybody, for following us. There's no question, there's no contribution. TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, all. So we're grateful, and we'll see you. There's another session. There's a session we missed, so we're trying to see how we can put in that session tomorrow before our Friday session also. So thank you so much, Mr. Faith. God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you. Now go day. So
Thank
say.
you.
Fully. So say, all right now. Thank you guys. See you next time. And we just hope that everything you're hearing from us, you will put some into practice. You don't have to put all. Put 30% into practice. You start seeing results. You put 70, you see greater results. You put 100%, your life is going to be transformed. Take take me by my word. I'm very sure your life will change. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you on our next episode. Bye for now.